everybody. So today I am going to be doing a copycat Olive Garden recipe for the minestrone soup. You're going to need 1 can of diced peeled tomatoes, 2 cans of red kidney beans, 2 cans of great northern beans. I have 2 cups of zucchini, 2 cups of carrots, and I have 1 small onion and half a stalk of celery cut up. We're going to saute all this together with a few cloves of garlic. I have some vegetable bouillon cubes. I personally prefer this brand. It's called Better Than Bouillon, and my grocery store did not have the vegetable base. I would recommend it if yours does. However, and I won't be using it, it's just an example. But and also we're going to be using some Italian green beans in the soup. Maybe half a cup of those. Also some small pasta shells that are going to get boiled into the mix. I have 4 cups of spinach that I've already cut up and washed, and I have those sitting to the side, as well as some Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm going to put this in the bottom of the soup and just kind of let it disintegrate as the soup cooks, and I found that it gives it a lot more flavor that way than just grating it up over the top, which you can do both. I may save a piece to grate and then throw the rest of this down in the pot. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm gonna pour the onion and celery in first. And give those a minute to go ahead and saute. This should be a fairly simple, fairly quick recipe to do. I had already chopped up all of my vegetables before I started the video, but even cutting time, I mean, it was what, 5 minutes to cut up everything. So this recipe should not take long. Let's say we started at 1:55. From start to finish, I'll tell you guys how long this recipe actually takes to make. Okay, so those that have all gotten coated, I'm going to go ahead and add the zucchini. I cut them in pretty big pieces. And our carrot. While this is going, I'm just going to go ahead and get another pot of water boiling. That's going to be the water we're going to dip into to add water to make our stock. The recipe called for a half a cup of green pepper, or excuse me, of Italian beans. That was actually 2 cups. I have a little bit left in my pot. I mean, in my bag. I'm just going to go ahead and add the whole bag. This was a 12-ounce bag of green Italian beans, Italian cut beans. Alright, and while all that is cooking together, I'm going to go ahead and start pressing my cloves of garlic over into the soup. I have five cloves of garlic. You can add or lessen or don't add any at all. It just depends on your personal preference. And why I brought this pot out is actually because this one is not going to be big enough once I add more broth and I add the beans and the tomatoes. So I'm just going to transfer everything that you see here over here into this pot. So I just want to go ahead and finish cooking it down first. Let this finish cooking up, and I'm going to drain all of the beans and rinse those off, and I'm going to just drain the tomatoes and add those. But I'm going to drain the beans as well as give them a good rinse of water before I add them to the meal. Gonna start adding water. This is 4 cups. Three more cups. Two. So I'm gonna get 1 more cup in, and we're just pretty much gonna cook this and let it simmer for 20 minutes. Actually, this has to be salted and seasoned. Have some black pepper. That's about a tablespoon of pepper. Excuse me. Yeah, a tablespoon. A tablespoon of pepper. Another tablespoon of salt. Again, I'd rather add less now and be able to add more later. I have some dried basil leaves. I'm going to add some of this. That's a tablespoon. And I have some Italian seasoning. This actually has the thyme and oregano in it that I don't have any dried alone. So I'm going to just add another tablespoon of that to go in here. There it is. Last cup of water that I'm going to add to the soup. And also the spinach will go in at the very end. I'm going to go ahead and add the pasta. That's 1.5 cups of pasta. Alright, we're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes. I'm going to come back and stir it to make sure the pasta isn't sticking, and then we'll add the spinach and we should be about done. We're going to let the spinach cook for a little bit, but again, we started this at 155. It's now 212 and it's been going now for about 17 minutes, which isn't bad, so stay tuned. Y'all, I just tasted this and it tastes a little bland. I did go ahead and add another bouillon cube to this stock, and here are some whole Himalayan pink salt pieces. I like it because the food doesn't taste very salty with it, but I'm just going to sprinkle that down in the bottom. Because you got to remember too, those pastas are going to cook and they're going to absorb salt as well. So we want to make sure that we season this as best as we can, and we want to season it now while the pasta is cooking so that it can absorb as much flavor as possible. Y'all, I'm losing it. This is what happens when you have a million other things going on. I actually have forgotten to put this over in here. So I'm going to drop that over. And I am going to save a piece to be able to shred over. But this piece here is going to go in the soup for cooking. Alright, so the soup has been cooking now for 10 minutes. It's now 2:12. And I'm going to go ahead and add the spinach to the soup. Remember, this is 4 cups. That was a fresh bunch of spinach. I literally just bought one bunch and chopped it up. The pasta shells are not completely done yet, but it won't be too much longer before they are. Taste the broth again. See if we're happier with the flavoring. And honestly, the cheese gave it a whole new flavor. I really think it's almost perfect. I'm going to turn my heat down to medium low. I'm going to let it simmer for another 10 to 15 minutes, and then I think it's safe to say that this is going to be done. And there you have it, you guys. This is literally the finished result of the soup. We put some of the cheese over the top, and it literally took us 40 minutes from 1:55 to exactly 2:35. This soup was done in its entirety. You can obviously make you some breadsticks to go along with it. We have ours in the oven and they are about to come out shortly, but very simple. Enjoy.